the spot, she decided to be a skater. Little Katarina Witt was a different story. She grew up in East Germany, where she took to skates at the age of 5. While Debi was finding her way in California, Kati was learning the East German way, scientifically. She grew into a beautiful young lady, and in 1984 she won the Olympic gold medal and world titles in 1984 and 1985. Now, Debi never thought of herself as a black skater, but as a champion skater. Still, in 1986, she did become the first individual of her race ever to win a skating world championship. Katarina took it like a champion, but her smile also said, "We'll meet again another day." When they did last year, Katarina was the winner. Kati was back on top. Now they meet at the Olympic crossroad, and by coincidence or by destiny, both will skate to the music of Nina, and Debi share some of Carmen's qualities: charm, wit, aggression, confidence. Both start their programs at the same place in the music. But from there on, the programs go their separate ways. Very different, as the personalities of the two young women are very different. We see a new Debi this season, a more graceful, artistic one, partly due to instruction by ballet dancer George de la Peña, and to a private session with the great Mikhail Baryshnikov.
He mainly helped me just because he was there, but you know, just the fact of this is Baryshnikov, you know, you get inspired and you get excited about it. And he's the one that suggested I work with George, and George just makes me feel things that I just never thought I could feel before.
Remember, each of these two young women decided independently to skate to the music of Carmen. Katarina told us how she sees the character.
I really like the Carmen music and the story of this woman, that she loves one man and she's together with another man. But I can't do this on the ice, yeah.
Debi, the athlete, who once described herself in a single word as invincible, is still very much a part of the new Debi. Her Carmen ends not with a whimper, but with a pose that seems to shout, "I'm a winner." Katarina sticks more closely to the storyline. Her Carmen dies like a wilted flower melting into the ice in one final tragic move. Two little girls, now two Carmens, and only one can win the gold. And this rink behind us, coming up shortly, the greatest women's figure skaters in the world, and no doubt about it, Jane and Chris, all eyes on Debi and Kati. Who will I ask? I'll ask you about Kati. I mean, the drama this week, we talked about it last night, about a costume. Do you think it's going to be a big thing tonight?
Oh no, I think it's the costume she wears will be part of the routine. It's in character with the kind of music she's using.
And what about her routine? Do you think it'll be absolutely dramatic?
Her routine is more of a showgirl type thing, with some tap dancing, I believe, in it. I'm not quite sure, but it's sort of very audience appealing.
There seems to be a great wave of thought that she will win the gold medal. I'm sure Debi Thomas doesn't agree with that. And there also seems to be a thought that, you know, because she's so beautiful and she's so breathtaking that particularly male judges, it's got to be worth maybe another tenth of a point.
Oh, I don't think there's too much truth in that. The judges will mark what they see.
And what about Debi Thomas? She comes in as the ex-world champion. She comes in as, I guess, if it was a horse race, it'd be 6-4 on, 6-4 again. She's just a slight outsider. How do you rate her chances?
Well, I mean, this was sort of the similar situation with the Boitano and Orsa, and I think the comparison is just the same. On the night, it's going to come down to who skates the best, and Debi could win, or Katarina could win, so I think it's really exciting competition skating.
On the night, of course, we saw the pressure, maybe just a little too much for Brian Orsa, huge pressure. How do both these girls cope? Are they both good under strain?
I think this year more so Debi will handle it better than she has done in the past. Katarina is used to this. She's been in this situation quite a few times, and I think she just is very narrow-minded in what she's got to do when she goes out there, and she's very single-minded, I should say.
All right, well, we'll be joining them on the ice in just a moment here at the Saddledome, the short program night, and we'll be seeing first up Australia's own Tracy Brook. And what a thrill it must be for this young lady right now from Sydney, Australia, 16-year-old Tracy Brook.
She was over-rotating, but that's quite a difficult combination, and I don't think she'd lose too many points putting the turn on the end.
It's important for Tracy to do well on this part of the element because she has to move up to 2 places because there are 31 competitors, and the cut-off point for this competition is 24 to go on to the next round, the long program. So she really has to land all her combinations, and she's landed the double axel, so that's really good.
Tracy actually has very nice jumps. She gets a lot of height and she makes them look quite easy.
Tracy Brook, at the ripe old age of 16, representing Australia at her first Winter Olympic Games. And as Chris said, she's just got to improve a couple of posies. Just like the golf, there is a cut here in the skating. 24 will skate tomorrow night in the free program, and Tracy came into this competition lying 26th. Was it good enough to jump a posie or two, Chris? What do you think?
Tracy just skated off the wrong end. She's totally confused.
I think she's relieved to get that first pot out of the way. It's really going to be interesting to see how the other skaters do behind her. It was a good performance. I think she should...
She's so nervous there. She gets like a fighter going back to the wrong corner.
It'd be a shame if she doesn't make that the 24th place.
She is with a coach, Belinda Coulthard. Here are the marks.
I think she has a lot of potential for the future. This is her first Olympics and one of her first big international competitions. So I think for the future she'll be somebody to look forward to.
Marks for presentation. Pour présentation. 4.3, 4.3, 4.2, 4.1, 3.9.
And there are the marks for Sydney 16-year-old Tracy Brook, making her debut in the Winter Olympic Games here in Calgary.
4.3, 4.2, 4.1, 3.9, 4.5, 4.6, 3.8, 4.2, 4.4.
Our next competitor representing the German Democratic Republic de la République démocratique d'Allemagne, notre prochaine concurrente, Simone Koch.
And as we leave Sydney's Tracy Brook out onto the ice from Dresden in the German Democratic Republic, Miss Simone Koch.
like this is the first girl that's sort of wearing gloves, which the costumes are running down into her hands.
But that's the best jump we've seen so far this evening. I remember seeing this girl in competition some years ago. She was very tiny. She looks like she's grown an awful lot. She has very long legs now. Sometimes when people start to grow, it can affect their jumps. They can lose them all completely because of the different weight balance they have.
She must have been a good young skater, Jane. I noticed she was second back in 1985 at the World Juniors.
Yes, yes. Well, she will probably take over from Katarina next year. She'll probably become the champion of East Germany.
She's also coached by Jutta Müller too, isn't she? I think Jutta actually sort of oversees all the free skaters in East Germany.
Is she as fearsome as she looks, Jutta Müller?
Yes, in a word.
She not only coaches Katarina, she protects her from the hordes of media who...
They have an unusual relationship because almost from a baby she's been teaching her, so she must be almost like a mother figure to her.
And also from East Germany, there is Simone Koch. Yes, I guess that's one of the... While they have a great factory of athletic production, the East Germans, even the parents can't leave the country to come and watch these girls like Katarina Witt, and you need a Jutta Müller to look after them.
That's right, yeah.
Marks for Simone Koch. For required elements for les éléments requis. 5.4, 5.4.
Otherwise, she's looked after by Jutta Müller, who I noticed was unkindly referred to in the press today as a double for the character Cloris Leachman played in Young Frankenstein.
5.4, 5.4, 5.4, 5.2, 5.4, 5.2, 5.5, 5.1, 5.4. Marks for presentation. Les notes pour la présentation. 5.4, 5.3, 5.4, 5.2, 5.5, 5.2, 5.4, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.3, 5.4, 5.2, 5.5, 5.2, 5.4, 5.2, 5.3. Our next competitor representing Japan, représentant le Japon, Midori Ito.
And what a tiny little girl this one is. All of 44 kilos from Nagoya in Japan. She may have been skating to a home crowd if they'd got the Winter Olympics. They were the underbidders, so to speak, to Calgary for these.
She's a dynamite little skater. Once she starts going, she really attacks her skating. Not necessarily a great artistic skater, but a very athletical skater. Great height on the jumps.
That was a very difficult combination. She did a double loop jump first, and then she followed it by a triple loop jump, which is a very difficult combination.
I like the fact that she is skating to some traditional Japanese music. A lot of the Japanese tend to shy away from it and go towards westernized music, and I think this is a a nice change.
Yeah, we've seen some
really well.
bizarre combinations, haven't we? Some of the Asians dancing to country hoedowns and things.
That's right.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that she's really low down on her figures in 10th place, but she should really pull up after the short program. Great performance. Great performance.
Well, the crowd is standing up for her too, and so they should.
Yes, as you say, she seems to have trouble with the compulsories. 1987 at the World Championships, she finished 3rd in the short program, 4th in the long program, and the crowd have just loved her tonight. Little girl who's given a lot to skate. Her parents were divorced when she was 12. Her mother had to go out to work nights to support her children, and in fact, with her brothers and sisters, little Midori had to prepare their own meals of an evening while Mum went to work. But it's all paid off tonight at the Winter Olympics.
We had a little trouble remembering where to get off.
Whenever we see her, she's such a polite little girl. She's bowing a little head whenever we come across her in the street or in the village.
She speaks a little bit? Okay. We're gonna, never mind.
She's very pleased with herself because this is a nerve-wracking part of the competition.
Look at those marks, good marks too.
5.8, 5.8, 5.8.
So you don't often see marks as high as that this early in the evening, do you?
No, but she's just poorly placed after her compulsory figures. She shouldn't really, for her standard of skating, her figures should be better to have her in a higher group. But I think for the future, you're going to see this little girl on the podium.
Marks for presentation, les notes pour la présentation, 5.8, 5.7, 5.6, 5.7.
And fabulous marks there, rightly so, for little Midori Ito from Japan. And isn't she a happy little girl here tonight?
5.7.
What a great, great picture.
5.6.
And you're sharing it with millions of viewers around the world on Wide World of Sports. We'll be back here at the Saddledome with more of the short program in just a moment.
Our next competitor representing the Soviet Union de l'Union Soviétique, Anna Kondrashova.
Welcome back to the Saddledome, where they're still cheering little Midori Ito after that last performance of hers. On the ice now from the Soviet Union, Anna Kondrashova.
Anna has a nice personality on the ice when she skates, but the problem have been her jumps. So tonight, well, a little trip there. When she puts it together, she looks really good, but she has a tendency when the pressure's on that she messes her jumps up.
Lying ninth immediately in front of the Japanese girl we've just seen skate, so she'll be trying to keep ahead of that girl.
She's usually higher on her figures, so seems like she must have done bad figures yesterday.
been a good skater, Chris, runner-up at the 1984 World Championships. Why wouldn't a girl like this have sort of come on?
Well, there was, within the girls' competition, you know, the young girls coming up are constantly getting younger and coming up. And she's been skating since '84. And the competition is stronger, but I think, you know, you can see a maturity in her presentation and how she's skating on the ice. And I think most probably that the syndrome that Jayne was talking about of coping with body changes as you grow up, because she started when she was a very young skater, international skating as well.
She was third in this year's European Championship, which was in January, so she is usually placed pretty high.
The Russians tell us she started skating because her mum thought it would keep her from catching the flu all the time. How do you stop colds? You live your life on the ice. If I was in your sort of business, I'd always be sniffling.
Yeah, well, you tend to... We don't get colds. We don't have too much of a problem with the colds, but the worst thing is leading up to the championships. You're so protective of yourself, you know, you become a hypochondriac and trying to stay out of people's way that have colds. You don't go in sort of crowded places. Keep yourself pretty private. And it is a worry because it does affect you when you arrive at a championship if you're feeling under par.
5.6, 5.1, 5.1, 5.4, 5.5, 5.1, 5.4, 5.3, 5.5. 5.6, 5.1, 5.1, 5.4.
The trainer there is the trainer of the pair couple that won the gold medal also.
And there's the couple that won the ice dancing.
5.7, 5.5, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6.
The trainer Chris referring to is Stanislav Leonovich.
5.5. 5.7, 5.5, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6.
He looks as though he's got mixed thoughts on that score for Anna Kondrashova.
Our next competitor, la prochaine concurrente, representing France.
So we leave
Agnes
the communist
Gosselin.
bloc and we whip over to La Belle France, the 5 times national champion Agnes Gosselin.
By the way, the elements that the girls are doing for their short program are the same as the men were doing in theirs. Well, she'll be penalised for that because she didn't complete it at all.
What the judges are looking for on these jumps are a clean takeoff and a clean landing that's going into them with a clean running edge, completing it and landing it without landing on the front part of the blade, which is the toe rake. When they've done a bad landing, you see the ice spray up all over the place. When they do a nice smooth landing, it's just clean and their body just moves over the ice like it's just the trajectory through the air, and it's a clean landing, and that wasn't a clean landing, as you can see with that was just footwork.
Yeah, it's hard to believe she's skating after the little girl we saw with a name like a Japanese cocktail, Midori Ito.
It's just the placing on the figures, the compulsory figures, and also the draw that they make.
Just going back to that little Japanese girl who was so stunning, what could she do to improve her compulsories? I mean, is she at an age where she can learn to...
Oh, yeah. I think we'll see in the next year through the World Championships, she will move up through her figures, she'll improve her figures. And also the judges will know that she is a strong free skater, and automatically in their minds that will move her up too.
Agnes Gosselin, who is a student in Versailles, 20 years of age, skating in the short program tonight for France.
C'est dommage parce qu'en plus c'était pas mal parti, la commune qui était un peu écrasée sur le piqué à l'arrivée.
Marks for Agnes Gosselin for required elements. Les notes pour les éléments requis. 4.0, 4.1, 3.9, 4.2, 4.3, 4.6, 4.2, 4.0, 4.1. 4.0, 4.1, 3.9, 4.2,
probably pull her down.
4.6,
I think she's in
4.2, 4.0.
9th place at the moment after the compulsory figures.
Marks for presentation. Les notes pour la présentation.
No, she's lying 13th, and she'll definitely fall down lower than that now.
She never looked really comfortable, did she?
5.0, 5.2, 4.8, 4.8, 5.0, 4.9, 4.7, 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, 5.2, 4.8, 4.8. Our next competitor, notre prochaine concurrente, representing Japan, du Japon, Junko Yaginuma.
And take a look at this little lady, the youngest girl in the competition. She is 14 years of age. She weighs 44 kilos, and she'll be dancing to the Starlight Express.
She had to over-rotate on both of those jumps. That was the combination. And when she landed her first jump, she had to put a complete 3-turn in, then take off to the next jump and another 3-turn after that. So she'll lose marks on that.
But she was attempting difficult jumps, and she's only 14 years old, so I'm sure she's going to be one to look at in the future also. Landed very forward on that jump too.
Well, she's 14. How old were you, Jane, when you first started to compete in big tournaments?
Well, I was actually 14, I think, when I did my first European Championship, but that was in pair skating.
Without me?
Without Chris, with another partner.
Well, this young lady seems to be handling the pressure pretty well.
Yeah, she moves well over the ice.
Well, at this stage of the evening, there's no doubt that the fans have really enjoyed the skating of these young Japanese girls.
Yes, they have been strong skaters. In the past, sat up here on the desk, not too far away from us, was the Japanese men's champion, and also he was bronze medalist in the World Championship.
Yes.
They've had a strong tradition. When the men used to do it, they say that they used to put on their headbands and out they would go. The kamikaze
The kamikaze?
style.
Well, that's what their fighters are like. A lot of their sportsmen are like that. And knowing the Japanese tradition, I'm sure they train harder than anybody else.
I think with the two Japanese girls, there's for the future they're going to be up there, at the top of the rankings.
14 years of age, at her first Winter Olympic Games, of course, waiting for the marks.
Marks for Junko Yaginuma for required elements. Les notes pour les éléments requis. 4.4, 4.0, 4.2, 5.1, 4.5,
big jump there from
4.8,
Great Britain to Japan.
4.2, 4.0, 4.4, 4.0, 4.2.
Well, there's quite a disparity there from USA 4.0 to Japan 5.1.
4.2, 4.0.
They might have a word with the Japanese judge after the competition about that.
4.9, 4.6, 4.8.
And as we see those marks come up for this tiny 14-year-old Japanese, we'll be back with more here on Wide World of Sports. Short program, ladies figure skating at the Saddledome in just a moment. Back at the Saddledome, and this young lady about to skate had a real problem backstage there. She got a bleeding nose. Katrien Pauwels,
representing Belgium.
And I suppose at this altitude, who knows? I don't know. Is that a common occurrence, bleeding noses before major tournaments?
Not particularly, but we are at an altitude here, so maybe that was it. Have a lot of height with her jump, so she has to rotate in the air very quickly, and she didn't really get around that jump.
Katrien is on the way back, far more damaging than her bleeding nose. A heel injury she suffered, which put her out of skating for 12 months. I guess that's the dread of all skaters. You do seem to suffer a lot of injuries.
Yes, to be off for that length of time is it's very difficult to get back, and she's done well to be here.
One of the problems that some of the boys have experienced, indeed Scott Hamilton only the latter part of last year, spiked himself. When they go into these jumps, the front leg crosses in front, and they sometimes pull in so hard that the heel of the blade goes into their takeoff foot, and it spikes them, and get a lot of injuries in that way.
At the age of 22 from Belgium, Katrien Pauwels, a skater who rose from the public arenas. Used to go skating there as a kid, watched it on television, thought this will do me, and here she is at the Winter Olympics.
Marks for Katrien Pauwels for required elements. Les notes pour les éléments requis. 4.2, 3.8, 3.8, 4.0, 4.3.
As you can see, in the same way that Ito should be in a higher group. Maybe this girl should have possibly been in a lower group, but that's the placement after the figures. That's where they're drawn in this higher group.
Yes, in the compulsory, she's obviously a little more successful than when it actually comes to performing.
That's right.
5.0, 4.7, 4.4.
Way back a few years ago, there was a girl called Trixie Schubert. When the percentage of marks were different to that, the placement now used to be 60% for figures, and she could almost win the competition on the figures. She could go out and virtually just do a double jump and win the competition.
Gee, skating must have been a lot duller in those days, because the accent these days is on entertainment.
That's right.
There was no short program, there was just a long program, and the compulsory figures account for 60%, as Chris said, and the long program 40.
Marina Kielmann.
On the ice now, Marina Kielmann.
Quite a lot of marks now.
Background there, the entourage of the German team as well watching on. The Germans are a very well prepared team. They come with so many officials, doctors, trainers.
The attitude of the Germans we're watching now, the West Germans, are they anywhere near as intense about their sports as the East Germans?
They're very sports-minded, but maybe I think the mentality of a lot of the actual athletes and skaters, that really this is a bit of a sideline. The main emphasis is on their education.
Most of the Germans are studying something or other, usually medicine or dentistry, and they're allowed to take time off from their studies to compete, and then they very often go back to studying. Well, her first combination jump was very, very good, and it's a pity that she missed her double axel there.
Well, we've seen the East Germans so successful at these games. Marina Kielmann from West Germany, skating her short program as the battle unfolds for the ladies' gold medal here in the Winter Olympic Games, a battle that will come to its climax Sunday night right around Australia, when I guess we all expect those arch rivals Debi Thomas and Katarina Witt will shoot it out.
Thank you.
There wasn't in the men's. Alexander Vadeyev folded, but is there possibly a fly in the ointment in the ladies? Is there a chance of anybody bobbing up and upsetting the apple cart, you think, Jane?
There certainly is. I mean, there's the fight between Katarina Witt and Debi Thomas, but there's two other American girls that are in a good place at the moment that could move up. There's also the Canadian champion, Elizabeth Manley, who's looking to get a medal this time.
Would they resent the publicity Debi and Katarina get, or would they perhaps be quite happy to see more pressure put on them? And,
yes, I think, well, if it was me personally, I'd prefer not to have the publicity and the pressure. And I think Possibly quite a lot of them would prefer not to be quite so much in the limelight and be a surprise on the night.
4.9, 5.0, 5.2, 5.3, 5.3, 5.3, 5.0, 5.1.
And there she waits, the girl who is certainly in the limelight, Miss Katarina Witt.
5.0.
And as we saw earlier with Debi Thomas prowling, Katarina looks like she's prowling a little too, waiting to come out here tonight. If you wonder what she's going to wear, that's what she's going to wear, fellas.
5.1. Our next competitor, notre prochaine concurrente, representing Italy, représentant l'Italie, Beatrice Gelmini.
From Bergamo in Italy, our next competitor.
That was part of a combination jump, so she's totally missed that and she'll be penalised.
Why the ladies keep going to one of the corners or to one end and stopping and then starting to proceed right the way down the ring. That's part of the element that they have to do, is a step section, and they've tried to make it as difficult and as interesting as possible, and then they try to get the most out of it by using the whole length of the ring.
Silly question maybe, but how standard are these rinks? Are there big rinks and small rinks?
International sizes have to go within 26 meters by 56 meters is the smallest, and the largest is 60 to 30 meters, so they can be within those dimensions.
And there is Beatrice Gelmini from Bergamo in Italy, 21 years of age.
See where she lost the edge there on the landing.
Marks for Beatrice Gelmini for required elements. Voici les notes pour les éléments requis. 4.0, 4.0, 4.0, 4.5, 4.5, 4.4, 4.3, 4.2, 3.9, 4.0, 4.0, 4.0, 4.5, 4.5, 4.4, 4.3, 4.2, 3.9. Marks for presentation. Les notes pour la présentation. 4.8, 4.7, 4.9, 5.0.
And as we leave Beatrice there with a look that says, oh gee, I was hoping for more than that. We'll be back here at the Saddledome a little later this evening for the battle as it unfolds between Katarina Witt and Debi Thomas. But right now, Bruce Walker beckons us to join him in the battle on the mountain, where greats like Pirmin Zabrigan and Alberto La Bomba Tomba will shoot it out in the men's giant slalom. That's next. We'll be back later. Welcome back to the Saddledome, where there's a real buzz in the air right now. As the lady in picture, Katarina Witt, the defending gold medalist, the reigning world champion, is out on the ice as the stars come out to shine in their warm-up. There's Debi Thomas, former world champ, and 19,000 fans are absolutely breathless with anticipation here right now.
And we'll begin the judging once again of the ladies' short program, le programme court.
First up tonight, back on the ice will be one of your Brits, Joanne Conway.
Yes, Joanne's done very well to be in this top group of ladies. She placed 8th on the figures, which is the highest she's been for a long time in competition. She's always shown a lot of promise, and let's keep our fingers crossed for her tonight.
Taught by Carlo Fassi there, teacher of many Olympic champions, Dorothy Hamill, Robin Cousins.
Joanne Conway.
Start for Joanne. She's probably quite nervous actually at finding herself in a warm-up with all these top skaters.
Oh dear, she's still only 16 too. I guess her mum and dad would feel that one because they've worked very hard apparently to get her to the States and have a coach. The dad's a welder and the mum's working midnight to dawn in a psychiatric hospital just so that little girl there, Joanne Conway, can become a top skater.
She's going to lose a lot of marks for those because within this section there are 7 elements and 2 of them she's now missed.
Falling once, I guess obviously tough enough to fall twice so quickly. Your mind must just race now.
Yes.
The silly thing is, you know, she'll practice all year round, and the percentage that she lands those is most probably like 90% of the time.
Joanne Conway from North Shields in England, 16 years of age, and having, as we say in Australia, a little bit of bad luck.
She landed right on the front of the blade there, as you saw, and that's why she caused her to fall down.
Certainly had a share of ups and downs. Jayne, I noticed that she sliced her Achilles tendon when she was only 12. So she's had a battle.
4.0, 3.8, 3.9, 3.9, 4.1, 3.4, 4.2.
See, she had very low marks there because of missing those 2 elements.
Really, and also the pressure on her from the media in England. She's sort of the next British skater that's coming up that's sort of achieving anything, so the attention's on her. You see, she can't believe that she fell over.
Marks for presentation, 5.2, 4.8, 5.1, 5.1,
Christopherson, wife of Paula.
4.6, 5.4, 5.1.
And as those marks are read out, there she is, the queen of the ice rink, ready to do battle here tonight at the Saddledome in front of 19,000 adoring fans. She certainly looks cool, calm and confident, doesn't she?
Yes, well, that's the experience that's showing through now. She's done this before. She's won an Olympic medal in 1984.
And tonight she's here to defend it in what will be her last Winter Olympics, Miss Katarina Witt.
Landed that combination, which was a little bit forward on her toe rate.
She seems happy to have got those two jumps out of the way anyway. They're the most difficult elements in this program.
Isn't it nice to see somebody enjoying themselves like that?
And I guess if we could get into those millions of living rooms all around the world, there'd be lots of viewers enjoying it too, particularly the men. She is simply gorgeous, isn't she?
She's a very pretty girl.
She's very tall too, and she can command the eye space. Some of the girls, you know, they get a little bit lost out there.
That familiar smile from the flirtatious queen of women's figure skating from Karl-Marx-Stadt in East Germany, Katarina Witt. Flying third after the compulsories, and that was a performance that will almost certainly take her to top spot, at least at this stage of the competition. Backstage, again prowling, her arch rival, no doubt listening to the applause, if not watching Caddy's performance, Debi Thomas.
This is the combination. And as she lands this,
just a little bit too forward on the
a little forward, but there's Jutta Muller in the background there. She was relieved too.
The look of Jutta Muller, maybe Katarina sort of skates in fear.
Maybe when she was younger, I don't think so now.
Oh, that's true.
She really looks so happy. What sort of girl is she, Jayne?
She's a very sensible girl for her age, and she certainly looked very calm and relaxed, and she knew what she had to do out there, and she did it.
You forget sometimes she's still only 22, don't you? I mean, she seems so mature.
Yes.
5.8, 5.7, 5.7. 5.8, 5.7, 5.6, 5.7.
Good marks, but
there's some space there.
Plenty of room there.
5.7, 5.7. Et notre présentation, marks for presentation, 5.9, 5.8, 5.9,
And those marks are predictably taking Katarina to the top of the competition at this stage. I hope you're enjoying the action at the Saddledome. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Into the Saddledome here in Calgary. This is the young lady who was leading after the compulsories, Kira Ivanova from the Soviet Union.
This girl's a very dramatic skater, puts a lot into her skating, and again she's leading the competition, very strong figures. Sometimes her jumps let her down. That's sort of reflected.
Is it coincidental, perhaps, that her countryman Alexander Fadeev has the same sort of track record, leads the figures, and then is inclined to fold a little?
Yeah, very, very similar indeed. I don't know why. I mean, they have the trainers, the facilities. Don't necessarily provide the best jumpers there.
Why do you think it is, Jane, when they produce such great pairs, such great ice dances, that they're a little behind the pace when it comes to the single dances?
I really don't know, because they never seem to get a good, strong lady free skater. I mean, this girl is probably the strongest they've had for a long time, and she's won a few medals over the years, but there's never been anyone that's particularly outstanding. Some years ago, they had a very young girl who won the hearts of everybody, rather like Katarina Witt, but she never turned out to do anything either. So.
Dramatic performance, but she doesn't seem to have the fun that Katarina and some of the girls have, does she? No.
Not really, no.
She has some interesting spins there. Sometimes the spins are lost by just concentrating on what their jumps are doing.
Kira Ivanova, who was a sick little girl, and after a bout of pneumonia, the doctor said, why don't you try sports, improve your health? I guess she's done that, and she's become the #1 women's figure skater in Russia. I don't mean to be rude, but Kira's got a face that looks like she doesn't have a great deal of fun, Chris.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
She seems a very serious girl. I think she really is quite pleasant. She came to Australia the first time we came down with a Russian group of skaters, and she was one of them, and she's a very nice girl.
I think she's experienced these marks a lot before, being in this situation.
Must be so depressing. It's like backing the horse that leads round the turn and you know that he probably can't get that last furlong. It's a feeling I know only too well, Christopher. My horses go fast and stop fast.
Marks for presentation, et notre présentation, 5.4.
This girl was actually second in the European Championships this year, so she she was certainly in a good place now for a medal, but on the short program, I think she'll drop a few places.
It's opened a spot for Elizabeth Manley to come up.
And now drinking America's favourite beverage, America's skating sweetheart, a girl who I reckon must be a Bonza sort of bird. Just whatever I read about her, whenever I hear her interviewed, I can't help but like this girl, Debi Thomas. Hey!
Being watched by Katarina too.
Is that usually the case that they'll watch after they've skated?
Not really.
Depends on the individual, I think.
Yeah.
Debi choosing to skate in a bodysuit.
I don't find the bodysuit terribly elegant for a lady. But that was the combination jump. She completed that really well and actually came out on a better edge than Katarina did, and she did the triple jump second, which is technically more difficult than the one that Katarina did.
And you got the audience support.
Katarina is actually applauding Debi as she's watching.
Well, I'm not a judge. I couldn't skate to save my life, but I preferred that to Katarina Witt.
Yeah, it was definitely a stronger performance. I didn't particularly like the music she chose, but it got the audience, and I think she should be in first place, but we'll see.
The nice thing about these two at the moment, anyway, in this particular event, they've chosen different music, different style of skating, and so I think it makes it more interesting to watch and to judge.
Well, even allowing for the fact there's a big American contingent here tonight, the crowd really enjoyed Debi Thomas. And that look we just saw on Katarina Witt's face makes you most aware of the fact that she knows she's got a real battle on her hands here to retain that gold medal.
See here, she did the double jump followed by the triple jump, which is harder. I believe Katarina did it the other way around, the triple jump first.
The higher marks for the technical marks than Katarina's.
5.9, Les notes pour présentation, marks for presentation. 5.7.
They decided you lower.
5.7, 5.8, 5.7, 5.7.
Well, that was disappointing. I think they were lower than she would have expected.
But by the same token, after those marks, she now leads the competition.
She didn't win the short program. Katarina still won the short program, but overall, Debi Thomas is in the lead.
And we leave the Saddledome there. We'll be back with Joanne Slalom in just a moment.
Next competitor.
Welcome back to the Saddledome. Short program for the ladies figure skating on the ice from the United States, Kadabi.
I like this girl skating. She looks good on the ice. She's elegant. Again, she has a problem landing some of her jumps, but when she's on really good form, she's a beautiful skater to watch. Last year in the World Championships, she surprised everybody and got a bronze medal. But in her nationals this year, she didn't skate particularly well. Nice opening jumps there, nice combination.
Mum danced with the Pittsburgh Ballet, and Karen also does a lot of dancing. Is that common to mix the sports, Chris?
It's becoming more common, and I think increasingly more important, and I think should be encouraged. So that's all the jumps out of the way. Good short program by her.
That was another good short program. As Chris said, she's a very elegant skater.
Kadabi, who came into the competition tonight, I guess a little disappointed after her compulsories, lying only 7th. But that performance may well take her up a rung or two. And if you've just joined us tonight, Katarina Witt got the judges' nod on the evening in this short program. But it's Debi Thomas who is in fact leading the competition as we go into the final program on Sunday night. And I know right around Australia, we eagerly await that to see who wins the gold medal.
In actual fact, what happened this evening was that Debi was ahead of Katarina going into this event because of the figures. But Katarina, because of her artistic mark, got a very higher mark than Debi. She won this section of the competition, but overall, she's in 2nd place still, and Debi's ahead. So going into the long program, I would say that Katarina is sort of the more confident one, having won that element.
But even so, the whole battle starts again, because it depends who wins tomorrow's long program, who will win the overall event.
It must be a little depressing for Debi, having skated so well and so athletically, to find that the judges, at least tonight, appreciated Katarina's more precise. I mean, if that's a good choice, it's probably not. More precise form of skating.
Yeah, an artistic impression really got her the top marks, which is going to be interesting on the final, because they're both skating to the same music, similar styles, so it's going to come down to the personal interpretation of the music if they both skate the best on the night.
This is a young lady who was lying 6th after the compulsories, and that's why she's skating so late in the evening. From West Germany, Claudia Leistner.
note the boy German skater also chose a showdown type music for his short program, or Western type music.
Well, talking of hoedowns and cowboys, for all the cowboys watching right around Australia and the cowgirls, a little later on tonight, Darryl Eastlake will be taking us to the big rodeo here in Calgary this evening. Right now, the battle, however, the shootout on the ice.
Well, that was pretty unusual going into that spin.
It's very unusual for someone to fall in the spin. She'll certainly lose marks for that.
And that was either a silly mistake or a real unfortunate mistake. This doesn't happen very often.
Athletic girl, Claudia, who says she would have tried to make the West German Olympic team in track and field if she hadn't made it in the Winter Olympics as a skater.
Well, her jumps seem to be very consistent. She's been competing for some years now. I believe she has already won a silver medal at one of the World Championships.
83. She was 17. She's now 22.
Yeah, so she has been up there. It was just very unfortunate that she fell on that spin.
She's looking at the ice now and sort of saying that she went in a rut, I think,
or maybe
from a
she
previous
found
skater.
a sequin or something on the ice.
And there's her coach, I would believe, Andrej Nepela, a three-time world champion from Czechoslovakia. Very outspoken coach, who once called the judges sick.
The completion of this event.
That man there with his hair parted down the middle.
After the exhibition. Marks for Claudia Leistner for required elements, les éléments requis. 5.3, 5.1, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3.
I think the Canadian judge has been a bit harsh there with 4.9.
5.3, 4.9, 5.2.
Maybe they'll call him sick.
5.3, 5.1, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.3, 5.3, 4.9, 5.2. Les notes pour présentation, marks for presentation, 5.6, 5.4, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.6.
And she's obviously not happy. Claudia Leistner
5.2, 5.4.
of West Germany. As we leave the Saddledome for just a moment, we'll be back with more in a moment when we return. Canada's big hope, Liz Manley. Welcome back to the Saddledome. A huge cheer, as you'd expect, going up for Canada's big hope, Liz Manley.
This girl has some wonderful jumps. Sometimes, though, the nerves take over, so we hope they're under control tonight.
taking a bronze medal in these championships. I think about a year and a half ago, she became disillusioned and was going to turn professional. In fact, she was very interested in joining our company of skaters at the time, but changed her mind and stayed in the sport. Let's hope she made the right decision. I'm sure she did.
I gather she used to have a weight problem. It must be a tough sport, Jane, if you've got to get out there and practice and beat the pounds as well.
Yes, especially when you have to do a lot of jumps. The lighter you are, the better it is, obviously. That was an excellent double ankle jump. It was very, very high.
Well, there's not much of her. She's just 5 foot tall from Belleville, Ontario in Canada, Liz Manley. You can tell by that look how much that meant to her.
Certainly did. Coming here, we saw how practice went the other day, and she's telling us, arriving, she came with a real bad head cold, and that's sort of been disorientating her in her jumps a little bit, but I think that's sort of cleared up now. It didn't seem to bother her tonight.
What a triumph for Elizabeth Manley, who, by her own admission, was on the edge of a bit of a nervous breakdown 4 or 5 years ago. She put on so much weight. Tonight she's skating at the lowest weight of her career, 105 pounds in the Canadian money, and trim, taut and terrific. She's very happy.
She has a very bubbly personality. I think that reflects in her skating.
All little girls have bubbly personalities, don't they, Jane?
Of course they do.
Depends at what time of day you catch them.
Marks for Elizabeth Manley for required.
Oh!
Very good mark.
5.8.
What a classic piece of television is Debi Thomas. Obviously wonders what you have to do here to impress the judges. Elizabeth Manley obviously had the answer.
A great set of marks for this.
Les notes pour présentation, march for presentation. 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 5.7, 5.8, 5.8, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7.
And at this stage, at least, that performance has taken Liz Manley up into bronze medal position in the overall competition. Out on the ice now, a young lady who would hope to upset that situation. The girl who's really had to battle, hasn't she, Jane, in her career, Jill Trenary.
Yes, she skated excellently at the US Nationals and was in second place. And she's now lying in 5th place, so she could also do well.
She's a very attractive girl, sort of got that cover girl look about her. She actually, last year, beat Debi Thomas in their national championship, so she was American champion last year. She landed that, but she had a touchdown with her free fall.
It was actually the most difficult combination we've seen this evening.
This is the third skater this evening that's taught by the Fassis.
she happy, Jill Trenary, who really is an inspiration. A girl who suffered a terrible injury a few years back when a skating blade ripped through her left calf, tore it to the bone, severed a muscle and an artery. She was under surgery for 2.5 hours. There were doubts expressed about her career. There she is tonight, just wowing them at the Winter Olympic Games.
Well, that was a terrific performance. With a good performance like that, she might be the one that comes up above some of the other people here.
She had a bit to prove too, because just looking at Debbie Thomas there, I saw her being interviewed one day, Jill Trenary, and she said she wanted to prove it was no fluke that she beat Debbie in those US Nationals.
Yeah, she's certainly a tough girl, and she's a fighter, which is what you have to be in this competition.
I think they're going to be sort of two competitions here for the bronze and the silver, or rather for the gold and the silver, and for the bronze and fourth place.
Marks for Jill Trenary for required elements, les éléments requis. 5.6, 5.5, 5.4, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6, 5.5, 5.4, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6.
American 5.5. What the heck
Well,
is that?
she's a little bit disappointed in that first set of marks, but
5.9,
the second set is certainly higher.
5.9, 5.7, 5.9, 5.8, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 5.9, 5.9, 5.7, 5.7, 5.9, 5.8.
And as Christopher Dean said, a performance there that takes Jill Trenary to 5th spot in the competition overall, as some entertainers come out on the ice and the competitors depart. We say good evening and well done to Australia's own Tracy Brook, who we saw first up tonight. How is it now?
How is it now? Well, I did a pretty good shot, but my figures, I didn't do the best I could have, so we're just waiting now to see if I'll make the top 24. With any luck.
That's it, Jane, isn't it? She's got to make the top 24 to stay in the cut, as they say in golf, for Sunday night.
That's right. Yeah, it's very close to for those positions to get up into the 24. And we'll just have to keep waiting. Hopefully Tracy will do it. It's a shame that you come all the way here and you don't get to perform your long program, so we're keeping our fingers crossed.
You're a bit like a fighter that got a smack on the mouth. I noticed there tonight you went back to the wrong corner, Tracy.
Yeah, it all looks the same. There's so many people, all the exits look the same.
What was it like at the age of 16 to be skating in the Winter Olympic Games in front of 19,000 people?
Fantastic. It was the best feeling. I loved it. Just to make it was an honour.
Yeah, you didn't seem to be overawed. You looked like you were going to get out there and give it your best shot. I guess the heart must have been pounding away, but...
It was nerve-wracking, that's for sure.
And all those mornings, I remember your mum telling me, what time have you been getting up in the morning for so many years?
4:30.
4:30. Was it all worthwhile?
Yep, as long as I make the long program, it's worthwhile.
All right, well, let's cross our fingers overnight that Tracy is out there on Sunday night when, as I said, I know everybody in Australia will join billions around the world watching the battle for the gold medal in the ladies figure skating. I hope you've enjoyed it here this evening. Next up, something totally different as I toddle back to the studio again, ballet on skis. The East German girl was given top marks tonight, and while Debi leads the competition at this stage, it was Katarina Witt's skating that the judges preferred this evening. A few moments ago, this is what Debi had to say.
It's just a dream come true. I was really happy with the performance, even though the marks weren't maybe as high as I had hoped them to be, because my coach felt I did a really good program. He said the style was great and the marks probably should have been higher, but I can't be mad. I have to be proud of myself. I really went out there and I did it.
You sure did. How confident do you feel that you're going to win the gold on Saturday?
Well, it's hard to be confident that you're going to win a gold because the judges can do whatever. But I just really want to start feeling comfortable with myself with my program and just go out there and do it. And let everybody else worry about trying to beat the program.
Debi Thomas, who we've just been informed will skate last on Sunday night in her final shootout in the long program against Katarina Witt. Just repeating, Debi will skate last of the evening on Sunday, and that should be one heck of a night.